Welcome to day 14 in the 28-day Age with Intention and Vitality 28-day challenge. So this is a new thing for me. We're going to try this approach, see how you like it. It's a little bit intimidating, but we're going to get there for you and see how we do with this. So let's get started. We're going to do a review today, and that'll walk us through. We want to start with, where are you headed? If you read the workbook and are working through it, we took some time to talk about, where do you want to go? To get where you want to be, we must have a plan to guide us in the right direction, or we're not going to go anywhere at all. So that was the main focus to bring into the challenge, was to spend the 28 days thinking about where we want to go. So if a year from now we want to be somewhere, or 5 years from now we want to be somewhere, by somewhere, I mean, do we want to be more fit? Do we want to be healthier in our body? Do we want to have some things in motion in our life? So that's where you kind of want to make sure you're taking the time to go where you want to go. What do you want for your life? Too often, a lot of what we do is because somebody else wants that for us, or we're just quickly responding to the external things around us. So it's not even our own want. It's an outside expectation, but it isn't my own want. So we kind of want to make sure that it isn't something outside of us that's desiring that for us, whether it's the culture, whether it's social media. Is it something that I want to be, or something that I want to do? One of the things we think about is, how do I want to be remembered? And it's kind of all tying together here a little bit, but when we're aging with intention, 10 years from now, we don't want to be all crippled up. We don't want to be remembered for being bitter and angry. We want to be remembered for something good. And maybe that's time with our family and the friends that we have that we love and care about. But take the time to write down in your note pages, either or in a journal. We included the notebook pages in the workbook, but think about some of the things you still want to accomplish. I'm always encouraging people to write a book, obviously, because that's my main focus that I've been doing for 27 years now. And it's like, we want to make sure that we can share what we've learned, what we've brought together, put things together so you leave a legacy, okay? Let's keep something out there to be remembered about. So I'm going to take a look here on my other notes just for a second. So we talked a little bit about the 3 daily habits. The first one was the replacement and the power of repetition. We want to identify and exchange our current unproductive mindsets and create a positive, creative mindset. So we want to trade out some things. We've got some things that aren't working for us. We want to trade those out with new things. So by repeating over the 28 days, the new things we want to bring in, it's easier to put the old things away. Secondly, we want to talk about being the hero of your body. And this is a big one for me, and so is the next one. You get it. And we all struggle with this, because this weekend's a party with family and friends, and everybody brings the goodies. And this week, for me lately, it's been all the fruit's been in harvest. So my orchard has been overflowing. So there's been apple crisp and pear crisp and peach crisp and jams and jellies and pies and everything else. So I've been eating a lot of extra things. Although the fruits are good, I haven't been eating as much protein as I normally do. So we want to approach food intentionally. We want to think about the greatest nutrition that we can bring into ourselves. We want to build external physical health habits to build strength and a lifestyle of daily movement. And that leads into number 3, which is my Silva Mentis, being forest-minded, which is a daily, for me, or at least weekly, intentional immersion into nature. It definitely has a long-term benefit for our bodies, minds, and spirits, and we talk about that in the workbook and expound upon that a little bit more. But get outside. It's easy. So we want to talk about implementation, because we don't want to stop too soon. Everybody says it's 21 days to bring in a new habit, but if you're tracking for 28 days, it's going to make a big difference in creating the changes in our lives. It's going to give us a chance to change up the routines from the bad habits to the good habits. Replacing and bringing in a repetition mode there. So one of the ways is through daily tracking. And I've gone through seasons of that, where if I'm tracking and I know exactly what I want to do every day, I know that I can get it done. If I'm journaling, about these things, and I have actually been journaling in a diary since I was in high school, or maybe even sooner. It might have been middle school, but a long time ago. And it's a nice way. I don't do it every day now, but it is a good daily habit. It provides an emotional dump, but it also helps us to inspire our daily goals. You know, we spend the time writing things out, and that's a good thing. We have the worksheets that I've included, and that includes the morning routine. So you start your day off with a good, strong morning routine. Get up, get rolling, get some stretching, get some good food rolling. Make sure you get that protein first thing in the morning. Make sure you get some of those stretches in there, work some things out, and then work on into your intentional habits. We want to include very specific daily habits into your normal routine. None of these things have to be time consuming, but they're just daily habits that continue to move you forward and build your body, build your mind, build your lifestyle, bring it all together. A crucial part of all of this is your mental dialogue. And we are, all of us, our own worst enemies. I know that we do it. We beat ourselves down. We tell people all the time, oh, we feel horrible. We feel bad, having a bad day. You know, we need to stop doing those things. We are resetting and rebuilding our body. And we want to take these 28 days to keep mentally telling ourselves the same thing too. So this is one of my favorite quotes by David Bowie, of all people. And it says, aging is an extraordinary process where you become the person you always should have been. And that's so true. You know, years ago, as we work our way through our lives, we're working through all the daily distractions, building our lives, going to work, doing this, doing that. Everything's kind of this, who are we kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you realize, some of it just didn't matter. Some of it did matter. But now we can kind of start bringing all those pieces together from what we've learned, what we've gained, how we've functioned, and bring it together into who we should be. So this is the fun part. Okay, we're going to rehash a little bit here. Keep walking through. Daily movement. Get out. Get in the morning. Do some stretches. I have a gym in my room, and I also go for a walk. So those things make a difference. Do some stretching. Walk every day. Take some deep breaths. You know, get your, I always call it getting my blood oxygenated when I'm out there. And it's funny because the first mile of anything I do, I hate. I actually really do. It's like, I just struggle. But once I'm through that first mile, and it doesn't matter whether it's 30 miles or whether it's 5 miles, I can keep going. But it's that first mile. You know, the first mile you think, oh, I can't do this. But keep the breathing going, get yourself situated, get your body readjusted outside, preferably, and it makes a big difference for you. We want to rebuild our bodies. We want to recommit to building our bodies, rebuilding our bodies at the cellular level. We don't realize how destroying processed foods and the seed oils are to our health and our vitality, and they tend to age us really quickly. Don't be afraid of good fats. You know, avoid the wrong fats. It's just one of those areas you need to be very concerned about because we're fed all these highly processed vegetable oils and seed oils. I've actually changed back to what my childhood was, which was lard instead of Crisco. But for all those years, it was Crisco. But I love using the lard in my cookies and in my pies right now. And it's a better fat for me. And don't be afraid of that fat because it is good for your skin. It's actually good for your brain. Eat out less. I mean, that's an easy one here because we're kind of in what's it called, a food desert here. There's not a lot of really good restaurants or anything like that. They're very few and far between, and they're all kind of the same thing. So it's almost easier to cook at home. But one of the things I do really well, and even when I lived in the Northern Virginia suburbs, is I did source my foods locally, whether it was farmers markets or connecting with the local farmers to see who would provide what. Right now, my beef and my eggs come from 2 doors down. I have a local woman. I'm heading out here still this week to get corn, and I'll cut some corn, freeze some corn. The more you can do locally, the better. Usually it's cheaper in the long run, and you have to make some planning about it, but it's a better process overall. So new thoughts, new life. Think those happy thoughts. So many people, oh, even the Bible talks about as we think, so we are. Um, as a man thinketh. We need to not allow ourselves to get out of the habit of being young. Too many people stop playing. I know I'm the weird aunt that the kids all love because I'll still do things like the slip and slide down a hill. I know. I'm not going to grow up anytime soon. Find something to laugh about daily. Spend time laughing at yourself. I mean, that's the hardest thing is we kind of get our egos in the way. And it's like we're afraid of failing. We're afraid of falling. We're afraid of looking the fool or humiliating ourselves. But the faster you can actually learn to laugh at yourself, the happier you're going to be. Put aside those unpleasant experiences. Put them aside. Forget them. They're not worth rehashing. They're not worth reliving. Just don't waste time dwelling on them, and always be open to trying something new. As some of you know, obviously, a few years ago, I got into motorcycles. That was definitely a new thing for me. Don't forget, you are worth the time, and you're worth this time and season to plan for the next season. We're not old yet, but we're aging, and we want to age in our best way possible. And that includes taking that lifestyle assessment at the beginning of the workbook. Assess your sleep habits. Sleep gets harder for a lot of people the older they get. I use magnesium cream. I don't normally have problems sleeping, but the magnesium is something we always need. So I use that on my feet at night. Again, think about your nutrition habits. Focus on deep nutrition more than just instant gratification. If you're getting that gram of protein per body weight where you are and where you want to be, you're going to be much more filled than if you're grazing on so-called empty calories, things that don't really fuel your whole body. So I really started upping the protein aspect back when I was trail running, and I would see so many people who would live on like the sugar and protein or energy gels as they ran the races, and they would be sick, so sick. They'd be puking, and it was ugly. It was just ugly. And we'd be running 50Ks, 100Ks, and 100 milers, and they didn't have what they needed to keep going. And they were just living off the sugar, carby sort of stuff. But if they'd started at the first aid station with a hard-boiled egg, and then the next one got some more protein and some more protein, rather than constantly pushing down the energy gels and things. It's like, it just makes me cringe now to think what people did. But upping that protein, especially as we age, is crucial to maintaining sarcopenia from not hitting us, keeping us from wasting our muscles away. Keep that going. Also with that, weight resistance, lift those weights. We want to use resistance bands or weights. We want to build some resistance as we go along. Walk, stretch, get some walking in, do some daily movement. And always, for our mind, body, and spirit, get outside. Absolutely get outside. You will never regret not spending your time outside. Replace scrolling and TV time with more outdoor time. Do more writing and journaling, other creative outlets. Don't spend so much time on things that waste and distract your time and just kind of numb you out. Our money, our spending habits, our money flows where our minds go. Some of our spending habits age our lives and harm our lives. We have pleasure and reward habits. Identify those habits that drain more life from you and replace them, and then repeat them with the good habits. Let's see. I think I missed a screen there, didn't I? There we go. Back to pleasure and reward habits. I'm learning this. You're my test bunny on this today. So the hidden habits drain away our life forces, our relationships, our finances, and most certainly age us quickly. So avoid the life drainers, whether it's, video game playing, gambling, drinking and drugs, bad food, pornography, all the things that just really drain it all out of us. Walk away from those. Just seriously walk away from them. They're not very helpful. So we just want to always work back through. We have these 3 things every day we want to work through. We want to work through a morning routine. We want to work through our intentional habits and our mental dialogue. And that's all. I want to tell you, keep going and never give up. We're going to have a few more days of this. We're going to 28, but I just wanted to do a quick review and keep you going. Thanks for watching.